Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to continue working on this 1982 FJ45 pickup truck. Basically what we're going to do today is we got some new tires for the truck, so we're going to go pick those up. We also need to fabricate up some custom transmission cross member brackets so we can get that transmission lowered so the H55 will clear the transmission tunnel. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do is also give you an update on what we're going to be doing with the back of this truck. Stay tuned. For now, I'm going to be upgrading these tires. These right now I'm running a BF Goodwrench mud terrain. It's a 33 by 10.5 by 15, and we're going to be upgrading these to a 35 by 12.5 by 15. So I've had these on the truck a while. They've done really well, but you know, they're dry rotted in a lot of places. You can see, the camera will focus, you can kind of see the dry rot within the tires themselves. I had one split on me when I went off-road, and I've got, you can see here, the manufacture date there is 2005. So these tires are about 14 years old. So they kind of had their day for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna upgrade these to a 35-inch tire. So I just got a phone call that said those are in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these off the truck and get over there. I tell you what, I may have to paint the 100 series wheels black. These look sharp. Let me know what you think in the comments below. This is what I got on there right now, just the standard stock 18s. I just put up the good old discount tire, rolled the 33s in. Let's get those 35s mounted and get it back to the house. Only goes up to 10 years. Doesn't say anything about 14 years.
They look good.
Man, that's a big tire, man.
You weren't keeping these, I'd put them on my truck.
BFG KM3's all mounted. They look absolutely amazing. We got dark on us out here, so we're gonna go ahead and head back to the house. All right, we're back at the house and just got them unloaded off the trailer. Man, these things are insane. They look so good. I've only got 4 of them for now. I'm gonna get a 5th one here in the future. I'm not in a rush for it. I took the best of this, the 33-inch KM3, and I'm just gonna run that as a spare for now. That'll be fine. So what these are 15 by 8 Mojave wheels. So I say it's a 15 by 8 rim, which I thought, you know, would have way too much sidewall overspill. But when I air these things down, it's gonna help protect that rim. And speaking of airing down, so these KM3s supposedly got this really thick sidewall. So a lot of really good reviews online about people airing them down and just being a great midway between an all-terrain and a mud terrain. Even though it does say mud terrain, it's supposedly got some pretty good road manners. So I'm excited to test those out. So let's go ahead and jack up the 45 and slap them on. See how we look. Before we put them on, I just want to do a quick size comparison for you guys. So anyone thinking about going from a 33 to a 35, especially with this tire, you get a general idea about the size difference. I want to say this is not a true 35-inch tire. I want to say it's a 34 point something. Yeah, it's quite a 35, but fairly good size difference. Seems subtle at first, but I mean, you don't have a whole lot in it really. Definitely a meatier tire, and again, looking at the the way the sidewall comes over here. I don't know if I can capture that on camera compared to, say, this side. So you can see that's obviously a lot more flush with the rim. I think if you ran this tire on a 15 by 10 rim, you get more of the results that you see with that 33-inch tire as far as the sidewall. But I like this look. I think it's gonna work out well. So anyway, I hope that's helpful for you guys. All right, 35s are on. Man, how good did these look? They look like they were made for the truck, in my opinion. Man, it gives it a whole new look. Sorry it's a bit dark in here. It kind of got late on me. I've got the 33 sitting there mounted to the bed rack. But wow. Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking to yourself, that gap right there, any kind of flex in off-road, and that's gonna start hitting and rubbing, and you're correct in thinking that. We're getting rid of the bed. We're gonna be doing something special in the back here. Australia-inspired themed back, tray, canopy. We'll talk about that later on. But anyway, but for now, I think these look great. Very happy with that. Good news is as well, while I was working on this, a package arrived with a bunch of Toyota parts in it, so we can get cracking back on the engine. Did a little measuring right before I left, and I determined it looks like 3/4 of an inch is all it's going to take to clear that torque tube. I've just got this sitting on the transmission jack right now. 3/4 of an inch gives us that clearance there, about 19 mil, and the front should still be okay. And as far as inside the truck itself, drops the transmission enough now, so I've got plenty of clearance between the top plate and the transmission tunnel. So I made this cardboard template about 3/4 of an inch longer than the existing L bracket, as you can see. I wanted to get some angle iron that would be the same size, but the problem is the thickness of this is already, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch thick. And if I was to get the size I needed, which I think this would end up being 5 inches long, the thickness of this would have been just ridiculous, like a 1-inch thick plate. It's just a complete overkill. So what I decided to do instead was got some plate and then just some cutoff, and then I'm just going to weld these two together like that to kind of mimic this plate right here, and then I'll drill my holes using the template that I made, and probably cut this out to match this. And the good thing is that as far as this part of the L bracket goes, this is the same length there. So yeah, so that's the plan. We'll go ahead and weld these up, drill some holes, and make sure it fits. And then if all is good, then we'll go ahead and either paint it or powder coat it and stick it back on the truck. All right, guys. Coat of paint. Got the transmission mounts on. And as you can see, they came up pretty good. So yes, I've lowered the transmission jack. As you can see, the transmission's being held up nicely. I should still have clearance there for the front drive shaft. And if we go around the back, plenty of clearance here for the rear drive shaft. So let's go and pop the rear drive shaft on and see how we look. All right, boys, I say that is a solid result right there. Those lower transmission mounts seem to be working out pretty good. I've got about, let's see here, looks like almost 2 inches of clearance between this torque tube and the drive shaft. Now, that's all connected up. Transmission mounts are all holding up nicely. We can go ahead and get this crankshaft nut torqued down to spec. And man, we're getting close. Almost there. Okay, so onto the rear of the truck. So I have been so inspired by all the sick vehicles they have in Australia and the way they kit out the back of their trucks. And what I want to do is I want to mimic something like that we have over here in the US. It's kind of be unique to the US, is that we're going to take the bed and we take it off. And we're going to put on what they call a tray, or we call a flatbed. And then from there, from the flatbed, I'm going to build up and have what they call a canopy. And it's essentially an organization system that would sit, kind of like a box, I suppose you want to call it that would sit over the wheel well and to the back of the cab. And it would house a fridge and drawer system. And on top of there would go the rooftop tent, an awning, basically a big camping setup, but give the bed would be enough clearance. In fact, where we take the bottom of the bed here and we'd raise it up so that all this ground clearance I'd have off-road, and I'd have a better departure angle off-road as well. So here's some examples of what I'm talking about, just some images I've pulled off of Google Images of sick flatbeds that have got different trays and different camping setups. They all have one thing in common though, and that they're all about organization in the back. And you can see a lot of these flatbeds are raised up. They've got room for a lot of accessories, and it also gives them options to carry different things and kind of really customize the rear of their vehicle and how they set up for off-road. Some really extreme ones, like this one coming up here. So another reason I want to do this whole canopy tray setup is because this bed, as you probably are quite aware, is rarer than hen's teeth. While you can find parts still for the front of the vehicle, because it's essentially an FJ40 cab, the back, it's impossible to find. All these side panels, the headache rack, the tailgate, it's all unobtainium stuff. And so every time I do go off-road, I'm always nervous that I'm going to go ahead and damage it. And while it's not 100% perfect, it's better than it would be if I was taking it off-road. So this will give me a lot more confidence, I suppose, to hit some of the trails up. And, you know, if I do damage to the tray, then, well, so be it. It's just a piece of steel. So here's my Land Cruiser as it sits right now. And this is what we've come up with. So I'm working closely with Adam from Box Rocket Designs, and he's absolutely nailed this rendition up. Everything from the front side protection that ties into the ARB bumper, to the side rails, all the way to the back of the canopy. Now you can see on this back canopy, you've got two main compartments. Those are ones on top of the tray. After a little thinking and a bit of redesigning, I decided for weight savings, so that it wouldn't be so heavy in the rear, we decided to shave off that rear box and instead came up with this. So here, the purpose of this one idea was the front would be a front storage for kitchen system, like a drawer setup, have a fridge to put your, you know, any of your dry goods in there. And then the back, where that spare tire is, would be where you had all your wet goods. So things like muddy boots or firewood or recovery straps, things like that. Now you've got the side boxes. Those will be for housing things like power steering fluid, clutch fluid, brake fluid, set of belts, just spare parts, things like that. On the back of the tray there, you can't see it just from this picture, but there it will be a pull-out drawer system that will hopefully run the length of the bed. On this close-up shot of the bed here, you can see I've got the awning on the side, the rooftop tent mounted up top,
the max tracks. Basically, it's going to be a full length roof rack for anything I need to put up there. So really utilitarian setup.
All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap for today's video. Thanks for joining us. We got a lot accomplished today. We got a lot more to do. On the next episode, we are going to do the engine test fire on this truck, I promise. And then we can get a few other bits and pieces put back together. And hopefully after that, get it ready for a first test drive. Thanks for joining us today. Like, subscribe, hit that share button. Check us out on Instagram at @MusicCityCruisers, and we'll catch you next time.